Hi there, and welcome to this 13th session of the Pause Fast Forward program. Going to talk about having a positive mindset today and how it's important to do your thinking in terms of that. So I want to suggest to you that our state is kind of made up of three different factors. The first factor is, is our present, our actions. And this obviously has quite a relevance to kind of what we've been covering on the course so far. What actions we take will have an effect on how our mood is, how we're lifted, etc. And it reminds me of the sort of circle of concern, circle of influence exercise you may not have seen before, where if you can imagine a circle which represents everything that has an effect on you in the world. So everything that has an effect on you in the world. And that's your circle of concern. And somewhere within that, there will be a circle of influence. Kind of how much stuff do you think of the things that have an effect on you? Can you do something about yourself? And a reactive person kind of will constantly look for actions, small actions, which might be your sort of daily actions from your thinking, to push out your circle of influence, to expand it out, or to bring things into your circle of influence effectively. So whether it's because you've got some direct influence over it, direct control, whether you've got some indirect control via other people. So constantly looking for ways to do that. And actually, there are more actions to be taken than people necessarily think in the first place. So being proactive, pushing out. And conversely, a reactive person will look at the sort of circle of influence. Actually, it'll shrink down. They'll think that things are being done more and more to them. So it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And people who are being proactive, it goes the other way. And in fact, some of your thinking also needs to push stuff out of your circle of concern. Decide that there are things happening in the world that or outside in your communities, etc., out that you really can't do anything about. We're all familiar with some of the terrible things that are happening at the moment, and pushing those out of your circle of concern can be very important. I was there was reminded last night of the Billy Connolly's quote about this. There's no such thing as bad weather. It was just the wrong clothes. And I was playing football in the snow with 16 other people at 9 o'clock last night, and not sure that was entirely the case, but we still had a lot of fun. So being proactive, taking proactive actions to push things outside of your circle of concern, and not let things like a bit of snow get to you. And that's very much what we've been talking about when we talk about the thinking time. This kind of way we want to get to, with the rocks in the jar first, then the gravel, having some space left over. But very much around these things, spending that time thinking every day, taking an action, a proactive action towards something that will improve one of your areas that you want to move towards, or something that's important to you. And it could those actions could be things that are directly within your control or indirectly within your control, pushing out your circle of influence, or it could just be a positive action on any sort of project that you're working on that day. And also, very importantly, in terms of lifting a mood, making sure you've got you've proactively planned in a beacon every day. It may be something that was planned in from before, like my football last night was planned in from beforehand. It wasn't planned on the day. It was always going to happen, but they're still recognizing that's a beacon. I'm really looking forward to, even if there was a bit of snow about the place. So making sure you're taking good proactive actions, obviously has an effect on your state. The other thing that has an effect on your state is the future, things that you're kind of looking forward to, your purpose. And it's very important, when you see people sort of move towards retirement or go into retirement, some people really sort of lift that purpose further, and that they tend to be people who have more fun in retirement because they're kind of motivated towards things at a sort of personal or group level. People who don't have a purpose, where their purpose was very much around their work, that tends to be something they need to sort out quite quickly, otherwise their sort of mood can deteriorate. So it's really important, at a personal level, you keep thinking about your personal why, retain it in whatever format works for you, kind of where do you want to get to. And at a group level, which might be with the team you work with, or it could be kind of teams you work with, you share goals in the community or family, you're kind of also sitting down thinking about sort of where you want to get to, your sort of future purpose at an individual and a team level. It's really, really important, and that has a huge effect on your state. The final thing to think about in terms of reflecting on our state, which is perhaps the most difficult part, is we haven't really covered it too much on the course, but I wanted to briefly talk about it today, is our past. We have a certain amount of both positive and negative baggage from the past that we retain. We tend to more focus on the sort of negative baggage when we're talking to people, because that tends to be what and baggage has that sort of negative connotation, but also recognize there is positive baggage from your past. That is stuff that you've learned from the past that's really positive habits. And one of the analogies I use, which just sort of sounds slightly cruel, is when they trained baby elephants. When they used to have elephants in the circus, they used to tie them to railway sleepers when they were young. And the baby elephant realized they couldn't move when they were tied to the railway sleeper. And then when they got older, they wouldn't even try to move the railway sleeper, even though they easily could. And we're a bit like that, unfortunately. And ignoring the sort of the whatever you think of that story, but yeah, we can be a bit like that. We can be retained baggage from the past, not relevant to us now, and making sure we're not carrying that around with us is really important. So it's often referred to as having sort of two parrots on your shoulder, if you like, a good parrot and a bad parrot. If you look at Lou Solomon's TED talk on the imposter syndrome, which parrot do you listen to? I think she calls them Lord Vader and Betty Lou or something like that. Is what message do you hear when you talk to yourself around a particular issue? And there's a nice exercise you can do. Give us drop us a line if you want to sort of have a look at doing one of our workshops on this, where this on maintaining a positive mindset, where you think about a negative belief you've got. You write down all those negative beliefs down the left-hand side, and then you also write down some equally positive, more helpful beliefs down the right side, some equally valid, if you like, positive beliefs. And what you need to do is kind of recognize that the ones on the right are better beliefs to hold than the ones on the left, and they're equally valid. So you might as well focus on the ones on the right, and they're probably, you find actually over time you'll find the ones on the right are probably more true. So very much think about which parrots you're going to listen to, and make sure that there's no baggage from the past that's kind of holding you back with your thinking. So that's what we wanted to cover today. Was our state is very much governed by our current actions we take, our how much we're looking forward to the future, both at an individual and a group level, and making sure we're also not being sort of chained, if you like, to negative baggage from the past, making sure we're dealing with that and doing something proactive about it. So quick update on the vegetable patch, which is unfortunately also covered with snow at the moment. I took these pictures for fun. Leeks are getting very close to ready to being harvested. The chard, well, that was out there yesterday, ready to be picked. There's still that's still coming through, although it might be a bit affected by the weather now. And we're also still harvesting beetroot again. They might be a little bit frostier than they were this morning. So still lots of stuff coming from there. And the next time we're talking a bit about how parsnips and also the process of sort of, if you like, restarting for next year, re-nourishing the soil, which again is a key part of kind of what we've been doing on this course, is also sort of continually re-nourishing ourselves. So hopefully that's helpful, and look forward to seeing you on the next session, which will be in mid-December. Bye for now.